Hello, everyone. I hope you're having a great start to the week. Just wanted to send you some more information on what we're seeing as potential issues when it comes to anything contract related or just general brokerage issues. So, today we are going to talk about the termination and release process because this is something that has come up, unfortunately, a lot more than we care to see. And we're seeing a lot of terminations right now. So, we're going to jump into a couple different parts of this just as a reminder of what this process looks like. So, we want to make sure that everyone understands that when a contract, and I'm going to use a very traditional situation where a buyer is terminating a contract inside of due diligence. So all the checks or the boxes are checked and everything is in order. Obviously, unique situations will come up. But let's dive into the contract as a reminder of a couple things here. So termination, the proper way to do it is first addressed in Section 8 of the contract. And in Section 8 of the contract, it specifically marks out the due diligence period. And the most important thing is that a termination to exist as one of the options is right here in this part that I'm about to highlight. It says you can terminate during due diligence by delivering the SCR Form 313, which we're going to take a look at, and the termination fee to the seller's notice address by the due diligence deadline. Okay. So it's really important that we study this because it is and. You cannot just send this termination at 5:55 or the notice of termination at 5:55 on the day of the deadline without also sending the termination fee. And then it also specifically states in here that the termination fee is to be delivered to the seller's notice address. Okay, the seller's notice address is addressed on the very last page of this. There's a section here that you want to make sure the notice address right here is filled in prior to going under contract or prior to ratifying the contract. It is up to both of the agents to navigate this, not just the buyer's agent, not just the seller's agent. So if you are a listing agent, and you happen to get an offer and it does not have the notice address on there, please fill it in and send it back. Let's not get into this battle of who's responsible for doing it. Send it back. As a buyer's agent, get this information ahead of time. If you don't have this information ahead of time, then put the listing broker's address because that way you know that that can be hand delivered in the event you never get the information moving forward. This is very important because we're seeing this happen a lot right now. And we're seeing that buyers are having to terminate and they're not able to get the termination fee put in time. If you do not get the termination fee put in time, this then defaults back to the contract, which in Section 8 says one of these five things has to happen, right? Or excuse me, four things. Accept the property as is, right? They clearly don't want to do that. Negotiate repairs. They don't want to do that. And then other remedies basically that you come to an agreement on. So if you do not terminate, you do not agree on other things, and you do not negotiate repairs, then you have accepted the contract as is if you have not sent in both the notice of termination as well as the termination fee. So, incredibly important part to remember in this. I know it seems like a basic one, but you want to make sure that you absolutely remember that in all this because it is happening quite a bit. We're going to do another video at a separate time that actually goes through the notice of termination process and that versus the release agreement. So, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to let me know. Otherwise, have a great day. Take care.